that we going through. We know that you're real, so please fall through. Father, have mercy when we call on you. But I just wanna fall on you to show the devils you ain't nothing to play with. I raise material enough to say the same shit.
Yeah. Go ahead. Look, I keep it loyal to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. This shit is too easy. I'm on gold, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, 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 VJ. Hear them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. Mama grind, bitch, I'm working. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. You niggas weak, said they be churchin'. I'm a west nigga, never served. They cross the line, I'm gonna back up, and I'ma hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144, we ignited. All my niggas, we eat. Men in this bitch with the ice. Say, all y'all do the sweet. Tell y'all to do the sweet. The nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the league. He ain't one of us hit the league. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Look, I keep it loyal to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch, I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You saw this cotton dust and after Uncle Phil with it. And then my target's on the move, bitch, I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Color Jack revolutionary. Cold on him like January. Commanding dinner is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we pace. We form up in ranks. We buy the bag, this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit. I keep it loyal to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead.
Outside, you in the crib with the boy outside. I get it on outside, from the dusk to the dawn outside. So when I'm born outside, don't catch a breath when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword's drawn outside. This next caliber, you better be on outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib with the boy outside, I get it on outside. That's a definite, cannonball, wrecking shit, excellent. Rhyme for rocket, bombing like the president. I remain strong, King Kong with the prevalence. I show you exactly what we do, that's how I represent. Hardcore, heaven sent, chain on, element. Throwing all black when they spot me like the leopard print. Boy, I got the braids in, shades on, made men. Cause we put in work to stop the earth until it changes. Walk strong, talk heavy, hold my own. You rock solid when we about to leave the sword, the stone. Nigga, we warriors, hardcore, tracking the pride. To let the Hebrew speak, nigga, general eyes. And we talking super heavy, nigga, that's the surprise. With all scripture, street talk, word to Captain the Kai, nigga, we blazing. Ripping the mic with all facts, doing the knowledge to the max. Till we cracking the pavement. UPK, y'all the one West Harlem, nigga. We spring forward and they falling like it's Harlem, nigga. Talking to they can't tie or they not of my kind. I get the order, then it's handle kind, not the one kind. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm finna stop and recline. Anybody that come against us, they should probably resign. It's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. I hate these niggas throwing shots, but can they take some? Christ says, sell out your garments to get a sword now. I'ma go and sell off these polos to get the fall down. Damn sure you started the war, but I'ma end it, cause the spiritual war could turn carnal any minute. I remember riding back in the days when no was tinted, but Salaki, I'm done with that carnal shit, I repented. And they bomb-proof the booth every time I'm about to go win it. You ain't know this shit, I live for this truth and I'ma defend it. And I get my second wind just as soon these niggas get winded. It's a war going on outside, I'm jumping in it. It's a war going on outside, you in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside, so when I'm on outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. Cause next caliber get better, we all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside.
Nobody's safe, it's a war out here. If you pussy in the streets, you a whore out here. See me all suited up in my fallout gear. 762, flip your fucking car out here. No burner, I still a break your jaw out here. No fear, if you scared, get a motherfucking pit. Or sit up in the church, you a motherfucking bitch. I give you in the verse what I give you in eclipse. It's 32 rounds of fire, it never quit. A lot of fuckery going down, so what's the purpose? Sick of hanging around these clowns, get out the circus. If you cross that line, then you get lit up. The worst is all black hearses, tinted with black curtains. Docs on site with medics and mad nurses. Leave us out your verses. You don't want that kind of war, ready for that bullshit. Kinda like a matador. Get this kind of focus, you gon' need some Adderall. Something just to lock you in behind them padded walls. They say I got some screws loose, and that's true too. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transform the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your calories. Courage of King David, battling like a Maccabee. Find out who you think that nigga walk to him casually. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it, they hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this had to be. Keep you grounded like gravity, in the field, but it's damage. Horror, I see calamity, scar you up with my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me, fuck them up in they faculty. They words sweet, sit in they mouth and causing cavity. Yeah, it's a war, none of you suckers worry.
It's a war going on outside, you in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside, so when I'm on outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. Cause next caliber get better, be all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside.
Check. Number one, you over there? I'm trying to see, make sure you can hear me clearly.
That's just like so we can hear you on the start, sir.
Okay, you can hear me too up? Come on, sir. Hear you perfect.
All right, Most High Christ, the water. Hey, go ahead and run another song down right quick, and we'll start up. But you know what I'm saying, maybe about 10 minutes. All right, Baba Kusha.
Come on, sir.
All right, the water.
I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy and get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends or they start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Novelty abdominal. So what you suck trying to do? Rhyming comical. This is funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to the pussy niggas is popping shit. Team my all-stars. I coach them up like a Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid. Shit has gotten retarded since all the dominance. One West rising to prominence. Cause I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got group 5 for Uber. Rhymes hard like they've been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta, niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by black Impalas, let the semi holler. A showstopper, been the stopper since the teeny bopper. But now I'm going off Patron and premium a vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modify the chopper. The swore heavy, war ready, and that's working mama. No marijuana, say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm a ballin', ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitties and writers, but when they eat on, none of them can get through the fire. Around with me, and I had a nigga feel like a tire. And a deep, and I'm still dope as a piper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuel igniter, I'm winning, coming through with the title because I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me.
I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil.
I remember I was only 13 when I met the demon. Gave me a deuce and a bundle of cocaine. Told me to sell to my people, make sure you keep them fiending. If any try to shoot you, make sure that you leave him leaking. He said,
I'ma hold you down when problems pop up.
how you got me moving this dope? Want me in lockup? He said,
Don't you want the Benz vertible with the top cup?
Yeah.
Stop bitching, get in that kitchen, let it rock up. Bitches love the dope boy, especially when it's pop up. I know you know Ron.
you the plug from by the block up?
I'll tell you a little secret, make sure that you keep your mouth shut. Ron got a Lexus, crib in Philly and Texas. Trip to the Bahamas, just got a whip for his mama. He fucking up in commas, be honest, he's seeing decent dope.
I hear you, but I just seen Ron about a week ago. In fact, he ain't looking too good. His knees is kinda slow. I asked him why the struggle, he got stuck up for his bundle. But them 6 hollow tips in his legs what made him crumble.
At least he got the house and mama is living good.
Said the feds took it all, he right back in the hood.
I see you try to play me. You gave us crack in the 80s, made us abort our babies and making hoes out our ladies. I know you got me gravy, but Satan, you must be crazy. It's gonna take more than them cars when to amaze me. I seen niggas shoot for the stars, but being lazy. Never get their head at the clouds, so you don't phase me.
I guarantee that you gon' regret it. Remember I said it.
Nah, you could dead it.
What you saying? I can't win?
Nah, devil, nice try. So until we meet again,
I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. I ain't religious or superstitious, but we've been getting fucked and put to the side like a mistress. Police patrolling why? Because prison became a business. They murder one of ours and they start talking about forgiveness. We think that it's alright because we got public assistance. If this ain't hell, dog, what is this? Where was all lives mattered when they killed Osama? There was no peace talk like the Dalai Lama. Bush dropping bombs saying he gon' bring the drama. They got justice, man, they even caught the Boston bomber. But when we ride, they send the military and armor. When we fight oppression, then our people die a martyr. You reap what you sow, some people call it karma. When Christ return, y'all gon' get this harvest like a farmer. Don't tell me don't bring up the past no more. They still trying to settle the score with a side of Shakur. I changed my life and I'm just trying to live life right. But at night I look behind me and see flashing lights patting me down. You got nothing that's poking me right. I don't smoke or push pills, I gave up my vice. So Mr. Officer, why you wanna take my life? And your honor, why you gave a homeboy's life? I've been wondering why you shot a homeboy twice. Pussy with a gun screaming out that he got a knife. He came from Habibi's spot, it was chicken and rice. Shit's trife, I'm just giving visuals like Skype. Ask Trayvon, Mike Brown, a Cobb Gurley, Eric Garner, Sean Bell, Philando Alden, Sterling, Jaquan McDonald. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. I pray for the demise of the devil. Lord knows I despise every devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil and said, I pray you die, every devil.
First breath I took, a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might with every sickness reveal. I won't pay back, fuck a dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my foes in memory of Emmett Till. I only live to do my master's will. Isupk, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. Gone straight but made greater. In my return, left to my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't move, let's it get approved. Won't take a step till it get confirmed. Armed and take what was made for our sakes. March like a tank. One step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak and bring hell at them crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Payment for the scars in the slave wars.
We good, Thought Boy?
Can you hear me, sir?
So everything to all, we good? Can you hear,
Oh,
can you
we're
hear me?
good to go, sir. You live and you the sound is coming through. I'm gonna put the camera on you and you gotta have rock and roll, sir.
Hey, do I have a reader in the class?
Count, you got at least 4, sir.
Okay, Most High in Christ. All right. So all right. So let me know. Just give me a go whenever you're ready to rock and roll, Baba Kosha.
Count, let me just get a reader for you real quick. I mean, might show you good. Count. Most High in Christ, I got a reader for you, sir. I'm gonna put you on the screen. You hear me good, right, Adawan?
Con, I hear you loud and clear.
Most High in Christ. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Chuba Maya Shaw. He's gonna be your reader for now. So if you need another reader, we got other mics. So just let us know, sir.
All right, Most High in Christ. All right, so let's go ahead and get a Lord a hand, clap it up before we start class. You understand? Most High in Christ. Once again, we're the Isupk, start at the 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, operating up under command of General Hunter. We come out with a sole mission of waking up the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to let you know you are the greatest people on the face of the earth. You understand? And what we do is different than every other organization that you've ever encountered here on the earth. You understand? This is why we say we are not affiliated with anyone. Every other organization that you may run into, they're all affiliated with the Christian church, which is the house of Satan. You understand? The Isupk is cut from a different cloth. You understand? We come from true priests and prophets of the Lord, and we pass this truth down to generation after generation after generation. In tonight's class, you know what I'm saying? We represent Durham, North Carolina. Tonight class, we're going to go over a quick history lesson, if I may. You understand? Tonight class all across the UPK and across the land is the history class. So we're going to go into some scriptures tonight that go into the history of Israel, you know what I'm saying, whatnot, all type of scriptures. But the thing is, we're going to find out tonight who you are as so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Indian. You just seeing from, you know what I'm saying, a great nation of people. You know what I'm saying? The greatest people that ever walked the earth. You know what I'm saying? We all have a mission here on earth. And each day that we live, we should live our life in such to bring our heritage back in the earth, being obedient to our Father. You understand?
Come.
Every day that we live, especially in the Isupk, it's an opportunity as priests and prophets of the Lord to go out into the community and throughout the earth and do what the Lord said we should do. Go get his lost sheep. So that's our mission for the brothers and sisters out there that do not know that who they are according to the Bible. This is our mission. We're not supposed to sit around and twiddle our thumbs and find other things to get into. We should always be willing to get into the work of the Most High, man. That's going out and teaching our people who they are according to the Bible. You understand? So tonight we're going to go into the book of Psalms. We're going to start with the book of Psalms, chapter 83, and we're going to run it down. Just start at 83 and let's start at verse 83. I'm Salakia, 83 and 1, Baba Kushah. The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Come on. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silent, O Most High. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head.
So first, you want to understand who is the author of this text right here in the book of Psalms.
So like it's Sir King David, sir.
Right. So King David is saying in verse 1. Give me a breakdown of this. What is King David talking about in verse 1, Baba Kushah?
Sir, he's like, if I may, he's asking the Most High to not be silent, to hear his call.
Okay, go ahead. What else? And hold not thou peace. What is hold not thou peace?
Oh, slack it, sir, to take action, sir.
Right. So David is essentially calling for what? The Most High to help him in this time of war. You understand? That's what's going on right here. David is calling on the Most High, man. Hey, I want you with me, Lord. You understand? And that's what we do out as a nation of Israel. We don't rely on guns and
Yeah, we do want to be prepared for war. You understand? We want to train and combat and be ready for these things. But the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. You understand?
Come on,
While while the other nations are preparing the biggest bomb that they can drop on another nation, or the fastest aircraft, or the type of machine gun that they could do, or the type of machine gun that they can kill as many people as they can. Just remember, we descend from uh people like King David that use. We're gonna get into that story tonight. Where we see that the Most High was with him. You understand?
right.
The Most High is with us with anything that we go into. The scriptures specifically say how the other nations wait till we are against our power to attack us. So the most thing that we can do to show our strength is be obedient to what the Father said. And the reason why we want to talk about this history, because this is our history. The scriptures actually goes into breaking down how powerful we are as a nation of people if we are obedient to the Father.
That's right.
We lose that strength and that power and that courage because of our disobedience. The other nations see how weak we are and how confused and how confounded we become when we become not reliant on our power. So David right here is doing what we always have done, which is what? Call on his power, the most high power. His name is Yahweh in the Hebrew, you understand? So that's what we have to be as a nation of people. Well, we're going to get into understanding why David is calling on his power, right? We stopped at what, verse 2?
Come on, sir.
Okay, read verse 2 again.
Come on, the book of Psalms, Psalm 83, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine who?
Thine enemies make a tumult.
No, he's saying his friends.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
His enemies make a tumult. So for everybody that talk about the Most High is not a man of war, you are out of your mind. You are a complete Christian if you think that the Most High is not a man of war. David is calling on the Most High to be what? Not at peace or hold his silence. For what? Because he's about to go against his enemies. And he's going to tell you what his enemies are doing is why he's calling on the Most High. Okay, read on.
Come on. And they that hate thee have lifted up.
And they that do what?
They that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They that hate thee have lifted up the head. So what is this saying?
It's like I said, if I may, these are also enemies of the Most High.
Right. Okay, so the enemies are making a tumult. So what is a tumult? Let's break that down first. The enemies make a tumult. What is a tumult?
It's like I said, I'll get that definition for you.
Say again.
Shalom, Adawan. If I may, a tumult is a loud, riotous noise.
Right. So now enemy. So what loud, riotous noise would an enemy make?
If I may, any noise that would cause us to lose our bearing or to lose our way, to what's the word? To confuse us or to distract us from what we should be doing.
Or to make us aware of the things that are going around us. Like if you're facing the enemy, y'all ain't Israel. You hear the tumult that our enemies make when we at camp all day. They do it all the time. You know, when we at camp, you're at war when we go to camp. We are at war every time we open our eyes in this empire. You understand? Right. But when we go out to camp, the enemy. Imagine some of the things that you've heard while you at camp. When you want the Lord on your side, you know what I'm saying? Some of the things they say, y'all go home, pack up. I'll drive by here and shoot up everything. Y'all ever heard them say that? Oh, you ever seen anything get thrown at you while you at camp? You hear all the things that they say about how you look and what you're saying and how we don't understand these scriptures, but we do. So we go out, before we even go out to camp, we say our prayers to make sure that the angels are with us. Right. So that's essentially what David is doing right here. He's asking the Lord to be with him while his enemy make a tumult, okay? But he's going to explain what they're doing. Okay, read on. Start from tumult and start at and, Baba Kusha.
Come. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So what does that mean? And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. What is it saying?
It's like I said, if I made
come on,
enemies of not only our enemies, but ones who are against the Most High, who do not do as the Lord commands.
But okay, so what is the one thing that we know about the word hate in the scriptures?
It's like, is it like hate is an action in the scriptures?
Right. So that action that they're doing right now is what?
Oh, so like I said, going to war, going against us or against the Most High.
They are making a tumult.
Come.
You understand that they are the ones that are crying out against the Most High. They are going against everything that we're supposed to stand for as a nation of people. We say don't eat pork. They say y'all niggas should eat pork. We say the law is not done away with. They say Christ did away with the law. We say we can have more than one wife. They only tell you can only have one wife. All these things go against the Most High power. And guess what? King David was facing these things back then. You understand? So we've always been fighting for trying to make sure that the Lord is on our side. That's why King David is calling on the Most High right here. Read verse 3.
Salakia, sir.
Come on.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
When it says they have lifted up their head, right? Does that also mean that they've shown themselves for who they are?
Right. Meaning when we talk about lifting up the head, what do you know about somebody that's let's say what would lifting up the head represent us for us today? Like somebody that's going against something. What does it mean if you lift up your head if you're going against something?
You proud?
Most High in Christ. Give him a hand, man. Give him a hand. See, in the world today, see the things that they say about us today and how they come up against us, they do it because they are proud. They think that our power is not with us. David is in this moment is calling on the Lord to make sure that the Most High is on his side. Even though he see how they walking around full of pride, they have a bunch of tumult. And guess what? We also sees that they do what? They hate the Most High. David is seeing this. He said, "Oh man, this how y'all rocking out here? Y'all going to get y'all full of pride, huh? You got your head lifted up. Oh, you hate the Most High. Oh, because you making a tumult against my power. Okay, I got something for you. Oh Lord, hold not thy peace. Don't keep your silence. I got some. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going picking up those 45 Glock and nothing like that. He calling on who? The Most High power, man.
Right.
Read verse 4. Salakia, finish verse 3, Baba Kushaw.
The book of Psalm 83, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken what?
Crafty counsel against thy people.
So not only are they making a tumult, and not only have they lifted up their head, they have taken crafty counsel against who? Thy people. King David let you know there's a separation between us and them. Right? Against thy people. He didn't say all people. He says against thy people. What is letting you know that this is talking about Israel.
That's right.
That's what made this thing so important. Why the rest of the earth try to get us to join in with everybody else. And they try to use the scriptures to do it. King David is making a clear distinction between us and them. Anybody ever played spades before? What's usually at the top of the score sheet? Us and them. Meaning what? They're going against us, or they're an opponent, right? So this opponent against the Most High, dog, they made a crafty counsel. They lifted up their head. Now they making a tumult against who? The Lord's chosen people, man. Read on.
Come. And consulted against thy hidden ones.
So what is the crafty counsel that they've taken against the people, and what are they consulting against the hidden ones?
If I may, sir.
Come on. Who that? Yanazar?
Khan, sir.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Okay, so the crafty counsel is that they've come up with a plan on how to destroy us.
Right.
To keep us from, as we're going to read very shortly, what the aim is for this council.
So okay, so this is history, correct?
Kanamakan.
Now this is a thing that there was a trap that they were setting way back then. But I would like to know, what are the crafty things that they're doing today?
Oh, well, the one of the worst things or the most crafty thing that they've done to us is to call us Africans. That's crafty.
Right.
And to cause us to become affiliated, some of us, with homosexuality and to accept it. That's crafty. You understand? To make us think that we need to self-medicate, that we need drugs, and that we need these other things in order for us to survive. That's crafty.
Now, what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to write down everything that Yanazar just said. Write that down for me. Yanazar, take your time with it and just repeat what you just said. Start with the very first thing that you said, if you can remember in that order what you said.
Okay, the first thing because this is the thing that's very prevalent. These are the things that's prevalent right now. Mm-hmm. They want us to be Africans. They want us to identify with Africa.
All right, stop right there. They want us to identify as Africans. That's the first thing. Everybody got that?
Come on.
So the second thing was what, Yanazar?
Then they want us to affiliate or to be associated or to accept homosexuality.
Okay, that's the second thing. Everybody got it?
Come on.
All right, go ahead. What's the third one, Yanazar?
And they want us to believe that we need to medicate, that we need to medicate ourselves to go to deal with the pain and the suffering that we're going under this oppression, that it's okay to smoke marijuana, it's okay to take pills, it's okay, all of these foreign substances that are detrimental to our health and our well-being, they make it fair seeming to us, and we accept it and we do it to our own destruction.
Most High in Christ. So we're just going to use those four, right? And those things are crafty counsel that is taking place in the earth right now today. All right. So read verse 4.
Come, verse 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation."
Now, who said these things? Who is King David saying? Who has said these things?
So
who is saying these things? Go ahead.
It's like, so if I may, our enemies, the ones we're going against war.
Most High in Christ. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from what?
From being a nation."
Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Now, somebody break that down for me, Baba Kwasha.
Slack it, sir, if I may. What they want is to us for them. Slack it. What they want from us is to be cut off from our heritage, like we are now.
All right. So, this is scripture breakdown class, right? Scripture breakdown history class, correct? So we're gonna start with understanding. First, we said our enemies. That's who they said, and they said, "Let us cut them off from being a nation." So, what is a nation?
If I may, sir.
Come on, Yanazar.
A nation is an extended family. A nation is a large group of people connected by bloodline, language, and culture.
Right. So in the next after the quotation, right? What comes after that? That the name of Israel may be in no more remembrance. So what are the things that they've done to us to cut us off from being a family, like Yanazar said, an extended family, and that the name of Israel may be in no more remembrance?
Yes, sir. This is Trooper Cabal Moth. They enslaved us and took away our names, sir, and our culture.
Now, what I want to do is I want to go back down on that list that Yanazar said earlier. What was the first thing that he said on that list?
So, like I said, he said they want us to identify as Africans, sir.
Does that not take away our identity?
Come.
Yes, sir.
Does that not take away the ability for us to look back and say we are Israel? See the same thing King David was fighting against the enemies against back then, guess what? Those things still exist today. You know, King David went to war with who? With Goliath, right? And they knew if they had lost that war against Goliath, what was going to happen?
Just like I said, the nation would fall.
And yeah, that essentially what he was fighting for. King David we have always been fighting to make sure that we stay as a nation of people. You understand?
Right.
Why the earth today consistently comes up with ways to come up against us and cut us off from being a nation of people. Guess what? Have they won? We're still fighting the battle today. That is why the Isupk is here on earth right now. You understand?
That's right.
We are standing in the gap right now, the same way King David was doing way back then. Even though the other nations make a tumult against us, even though the other nations take up crafty counsel against us, even the other nations walk around and be full of pride, we still say, "Oh Lord, hold not thy peace." Don't be silent in this time right here, Father. You understand?
Right.
This is not the Christian church where everybody pretends like everything is rainbows and smiles. This is the truth about real life. In real life, to maintain your family, your extended family, brother, the Lord definitely has to be on your side. But we have to do the things to show that we are worthy of the Most High for him to be on our side.
Right.
King David is crying out to the Most High then because the same thing he was fighting then, we're fighting today. What was the second thing on that list, Yonazar?
Okay, the second thing was homosexuality.
Homosexuality. What does homosexuality do against a nation of people? What does it do? Go ahead, Yonazar.
If I may, sir, it literally destroys the nation because you cannot reproduce, and it brings disease and all manner of illnesses into the whole culture. Man.
Damn right.
You see that? So doing that cuts us off from being a nation of people. Because the Lord say, "Be fruitful and multiply."
Right.
What was the third thing on that list, Yonazar?
It was drug abuse.
Drugs.
Yes, sir.
Self-medication. So break that down. How does that stop us from being a nation of people?
Well, we can use if I may, sir, we can use the crack epidemic as the greatest example because the whole families were destroyed, literally destroyed. You understand? Because self-medicating makes you become selfish. You become selfish and you just think about yourself and you ignore your family, you ignore everybody. You just want to get high. So therefore, you have no moral compass. You do whatever it takes to get high, and you don't keep that family together. The family becomes secondary. You know, that's one of the ways that we're destroyed through drug abuse.
Somebody do this for me right quick. Just Google this real quick. I just want to check it out. Just Google, what did crack do to the black community? Somebody Google it. I'm just pull up any article and maybe read like the first paragraph real quick, because this is a history class and we're talking about how the things today have affected us. And we trying to put this thing together to show like these are things, or these are ways that our enemies come up against us to stop us from being a nation of people. The first thing was what? Saying that we're something different than what we're supposed to be. Hold on, Salaki, let me take this for a second. Shalom, Lord Christ. On Salaki. So the first thing they said, they always trying to confuse us with a nation of people that we're not. Being African Americans and all the other, you're Moorish, Science Temple, all these things leave you confused about who you are. And if you're confused, your name Israel, Yasharallah, shall be lost in history. Just another nation of people that's lost. King David was fighting against that way back then. The same way Commander General Hunter has been fighting the truth and held on to it, so that way we can continue to do it. You understand?
Damn right.
Right. So anybody found Just read a quick paragraph off anything that we talk about crack in the black community, Baba Kushaw. First paragraph. It don't even matter. Just pull it.
Sir. Says right here from race, drugs, and law enforcement, the incarceration rate rose up. Racial disparities evident in drug arrests grew larger as cases wind their way through the criminal justice system.
Now stop right there. That just one article that we just pulled up just randomly, correct?
Sir.
Now, who was the greatest influencer of crack coming into our communities, Baba Kushaw?
Sir, the American government,
the DEA. But they tell us that the government is our friend, right?
Right.
These are our enemies according to the Bible, man.
Damn right.
And they walk around so proud because they see how disadvantaged that they've come in and done these things in our communities. And they that hate thee have done what? Lifted up their head.
Right.
They have taken crafty counsel. That's what the drug epidemic was. That's what it's always been. That's what ghettos have always been. It's always been a place for people who hate the Most High to go in and destroy His people, man.
Oh God!
It's like y'all ever been to a fair? Anybody ever been to a fair?
Sir.
And y'all see how they put the ducks in a bowl? Y'all ever seen that?
Right.
And what they do for the adults, what do they do for the adults? They blindfold the adults, right? So the adults have a harder time, picking the ducks up with the numbers on them, things like that. But for the children, they just able just to reach down and grab the ducks, like what they call a fish in a barrel.
It counts, sir.
That's what our neighborhoods have been for people who want to harm us, man. They know when you're struggling or you going through a bad time in life or you going through hard times in life. In the struggle, you may even it's wrong as hell. But what you do is you may try to sell drugs.
Right.
You may start to prostitute yourself. You may pick up Christianity. You may pick up Islam. All these things that they've designed are all is crafty counsel against the Lord's people. Like Yonazar said, these are the things that they've always used to cut us off from being a nation of people. You said that the incarceration numbers went up, right, during the crack epidemic, correct?
Come on, sir.
How many families were destroyed?
Countless, sir.
So if those countless numbers have been destroyed, think about those men that received maybe 20 years in prison, maybe 30 years and 40 years in prison. And what they don't tell you is you go into the penal system. If you stay there long enough, like what they call it when you're not able to produce a sperm anymore, like I forgot.
Fertility, sir.
What's that?
Sterilization.
You become sterile because of the foods and the lifestyle that you live in prison. Y'all never heard of that before, have you?
God, sir.
Right. So think about not only the families that were lost from the arrest during the pickup or the whenever you of the arrest, the families that have been destroyed because the brother I'm been in prison 30, 40 years, man. These are all weapons used to cut us off from being a nation, which is also known as what?
Genocide.
What else? Come on. What else? You're right, young Nazar, but what else?
Salakia, sir. If I may, there's one more thing that we haven't mentioned that's very important, and I have a statistic to go with it when I could.
We're gonna get that. But what is this thing that they're doing? You said genocide. What else?
Slack, sir, the education system.
That's true, but I'm saying all these things that we just brought up just so far. You said these things are all harmful ways that have destroyed our people.
Sir.
The answer that I was looking for, these are all ways of crafty counsel.
Oh, Most High in Christ.
All these are forms of crafty counsel. Well, yes, a nigga want to a dashiki and say he's from Wakanda, yeah, it sounds good because we don't have nothing else to believe in.
Right.
You want something to believe in as a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man in his empire. So yeah, you will put on a goddamn dashiki or a fez, or walk around calling yourself a Moorish or a Christian or a Buddhist or whatever the hell else that we go by in these things. These are all forms of crafty counsel. The drug epidemic, while we looking at BMF and Life of Canaan and glorifying the culture of dope dealing and hip hop, which are all forms of ways to destroy us as a nation of people. These are forms of what? Crafty counsel.
Right.
While on the premise they look good, they shine. It's a way to get out of the hood and change your life for the better. But on the bottom and the underlying current or the underlying factor that really goes into it, it's all forms of crafty counsel that is given to us by our who? By our enemies.
Right.
King David was dealing with the same thing way back then. You understand?
Come on.
That is why it's in here. So Yonazar, go ahead and say what you was about to say, Baba Kusha.
If I may, sir, what we didn't go into yet was abortion. And also I got a statistic that from 1973 till 1919, just blacks, not blacks and Hispanics, just blacks have aborted 19 million babies. From 1973 through 1919, that's 395,000 per year. That's just blacks.
Is that not crafty counsel?
Right.
This is what they tell our sisters is your choice. It's your body. You can't raise that baby on your own.
Right.
Is he gonna be there for you? You don't have enough money to raise a child. What about your career? The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand?
Damn right.
These are all forms of crafty counsel, man. These are the things that King David was fighting against way back then. And he needed the Most High with him on his side to fight against these things, right? What verse we at?
Verse 4, sir.
Read verse 4 again.
Come on, sir. The book of Psalms, Psalm 83, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance.
So with King David saying this, he's saying it's about the enemies. Then what do we know about our enemies today based on this verse? I'd be surprised if anyone get this right. What do we know about our enemies today based on this verse?
If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
That they're in cahoots and that they desire to destroy us and keep us from becoming a nation.
That's true, but that's not what I'm looking for. That is absolute true, but that's not what I'm looking for. What else?
It's like, sir, what we know about them, the ones who, consulted against us, what we know about them.
Come in this verse. What do we know about them today? The one that consulted against us, the one that lifted up the head, the ones that made a tumult, that the name of Israel may be in no more remembrance. What do we know about them today based on this verse?
Slugger, sir, can the brother read the verse again, sir?
Come on.
Book of Psalms, Psalm 83, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Come. What do we know about them today based on this verse?
Salakia, if I may, so I mean, it's kind of, this might be too obvious, but I mean, one thing we know is that they're not Israel. You know what I'm saying? By the definition of them wanting to destroy Israel, Our enemies are people who are not Israel.
And if I may, sir,
come on, Gaparia, what you got?
It's like the one from reading the scripture, we know they've been trying to destroy us. They've been trying to kill us as a nation of people.
That's true. What's the other brother right there behind you right there?
Young man I5, sir.
That what?
I was just telling you who I am, young man I5. I'm still thinking about what the answer is, sir.
Y'all want me to give it to you for time's sake?
Probably
go ahead.
That they know who we are.
That they're
that they what?
Salaki.
Go ahead.
That there's some crafty infiltrators. They real tricky.
Come on, brother. Think about where we sitting at today. Y'all in a school right now in Durham, North Carolina, and y'all go by the name of Yashala. Y'all are in the Isupk today, and we go by the name Yashala. What this verse is saying is, brother, we are winning. We are winning. For the name of Yashala, brother, we know that today that you know who you are. You know that we are descendants from the greatest people on the face of the earth. We know that we are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We are the Lord's chosen people. We know this today. So what it stands for is the people who've been trying to cut us off for centuries, years, generation after generation, no matter what they was trying to do, brother, they are failing. You understand? They are failing. Because you look at that Passover, you see all them brothers and sisters that came out there and was celebrating up under the Most High banner in the Isupk under the name of Yashala. Brother, our enemies are losing right now, but we have to continue to fight, man. The Lord has allowed the Isupk to stand up and fill that gap since 1969. And we've been out there on the streets rocking and rolling, and all the other nations are still hating us. They are still trying to come up with crafty counsel. They are still lifting up their heads, being full of pride. They are still making a tumult today. And guess what? It is not working. Because we are still calling on the Lord to say, hold not thy peace, O Lord. We're still learning how to keep these law, statutes, and commandments. We are learning that the greatest man that ever walked this earth was a black man by the name of Yahweh Shai. You understand? So our enemies today, man, hey, bro, let me tell y'all something. Y'all brothers are winning. Every day that you wake up and you say, I'm going to keep these law, statutes, and commandments, we are winning. Because against all odds, y'all are sitting right there in these chairs today learning about the history of Israel. Even though they said what? Let us cut them off from being a nation of people. Right. That the name of Israel may be in no more remembrance. But today, we know who we come from, Thaba One. We know it. We know who Israel really is. We know our language. We know our heritage. We know the foods we should eat and the things that we should not eat. Even though, Yanazar, what's that list again? What's the first one? Even though they do what? They try to tell us we're Africans.
Yes, sir.
What's the second one?
Homosexuality, sir.
Even though they try to push homosexuality in every community, every media outlet that's all over the earth, even the children in the educational system, we still know we're Israel. That's why we teach our children to go against those things at a very early age. You understand? That is why we teach against those things since the day you come into school, you learn that homosexuality goes against the Most High. What's your third thing, Yanazar?
Drug abuse.
You tell me you came into the school and the first all the classes you hear, hey man, even though you say it's from the earth, we should not be smoking it. We should not be selling it. These are the lessons that we learn, which is so vital to make sure that the name of Yasha Allah will always be remembered. What's the fourth thing, Yanazar?
Abortion, sir.
Abortions. How many babies are being born in the school every time you turn on Instagram? There's a sister being pregnant. A welcoming another brother or sister into the school from birth. We no longer calling ourselves by the names of the world, like Willie and Booby and all these things. These children are being born from these sisters, and they're coming in here with names like Mahayah, Yanazar, Gaparia, Tabawan. These are the names that these sisters are giving these children at birth. And why are they doing it? That we'll always remember that our name is Israel, even though the other nations are trying to cut us off. King David was fighting for this way back then. That's what's in our blood. That's what makes us the greatest people on the face of the earth. Because even though they push us down and spit on us and treat us some of the worst, we still here. We still here. We still able to build a school in Durham, North Carolina that brothers can come to into this sanctuary that the Lord said that he would leave a sanctuary for his people. Is that not the Isupk? This is what King David was asking for. This is what he was praying for way back then.
Salakia, sir.
Come on up.
Was any of that land that's now called Africa geographically, did that ever belong to territorial to Israel, like North Kingdom, South Kingdom, or was it always separated and they was always heathens over there?
Say again?
Can you hear me over there, sir?
Cut. I can hear you. I just got to turn the computer down, son. Go ask your question again.
I was saying that area that they call Africa geographically, was any of that area actually North Kingdom or South Kingdom of Israel? Was it some of our land, or were they always segregated and separated as heathens over there?
Well, you got to remember that we were a traveling people. Like, you got to remember, back then, everybody was nomadic or trade, bartered, and lived in different little zones, pockets throughout the whole planet Earth. Now, to say what side of Africa that we were actually in, you'll need to get a real map and do some deep studying, which we do all the time. But I'm not able to really go into it right now. But just know that land of Africa wasn't called Africa. So if you even to distinguish it as Africa, this is the way that some of the Kemetic people or the people that believe in Egyptology try to say, oh, you niggas was African. But to do that, now you're saying, okay, this is the landmass that is called Africa. So y'all lived in Africa, so therefore Israel was Africans. You got to remember the oppressor has come in and drawn these different lines and said this is the different land masses. Now we've always been a tribal people, and it didn't really matter where you were or what place that you were. It was all the thing that matters to the Most High is making sure that you keep your culture, man.
So lucky, sir. One last question.
Go ahead.
Is Israel the geographical area more important, or our bloodline more important?
The Most High. Now he laid aside an area that he considers to be our home, which is what? Jerusalem, right?
The water.
But what is Jerusalem if we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments? That's how we got kicked out of Jerusalem, if I may. Am I right, Tabawan? It don't do us no good to claim a landmass that the Most High set aside for us, no different than the garden, Adam and Eve. If we're going to be disobedient, the Father, he'll take away whatever that he gives us, man. So the most important thing that we have to know who to call on. This is what David was doing back then. Our obedience to our power is how we win. Knowing that you're Israel lets you know who your God is, what culture you should be following. We should be following. But if we fall victim to what landmass that we live on, we'll begin to follow the other nations. We'll begin to call ourselves Egyptians or Africans or African Americans or Puerto Ricans. These are all landmasses that we tend to call ourselves by. And we call ourselves by these names because we lost the one thing that is important to us, and that is our culture. King David was fighting then to make sure that we always remember our culture. The name Yash, it's just like your father, right? If you have a good father, a great father, what is the one thing that everybody know in town? That's one of them Johnson boys right there. Oh, them boys do such and such and such and such. Now, you may live in a city like Durham, but Durham is just a city, but everybody know that you're what? You're one of them Johnson boys. That's how we are in Israel. Like, even though we live here in America, once they see that them friends in that border of blue, what do they say, Yonazar?
What do they say about what, sir?
What they say about us once they see the fringes and the garments and the strange apparel that they're not used to seeing. What do they say?
Hey, they say that we're bad people. You understand? And we gangsters or we're rude or we're in the gang members, things like that.
Which really indicates what though?
Militancy.
No, we're just different.
Kind.
Yeah, it's militancy. But when they see us walking, they notice something that is different about us, man. That's why it's so important. It don't matter the land masses. The Lord did give us a land. The brother is right for asking the question. He did give us a land. But because of our disobedience is how we lost this thing. The Lord talks about our inheritance being cut off because of our disobedience. That's what this goes right back into the homosexuality thing. You have generation, say if you the only child and you go into the homosexual, you become gay. Your father's name gonna be cut off. Therefore, you lose the inheritance that's supposed to be passed down from generation to generation after generation. Your father had a 1985 IROC. A Z28. You want to trade it in for a smart car, a pink smart car. Salakia, a pink smart car. Nah, man, you want to rock what your pops got. And today, guess what? All these young boys, guess what they picking up, young Gaparia? They driving them old school cars. They cleaning them up, putting the wheels back on them, putting the sound system back in them. Because guess what? These things were passed down from their father. They seen it was cool back then. They just doing it in a different way. That's what we're supposed to be doing with our names in Israel. That these things, that will make sure that the enemy never wins, okay? What verse are we at?
So like I said, we are on verse 5, sir.
Read verse 5.
Come. Book of Psalms, Psalm 83, verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Somebody break that down for me.
It's like I said, if I may.
Let that brother behind you right there, right there beside Gaparia. What's the brother name?
Young man I5.
Go ahead and break that down for me, Baba Kusha. He said, young man, what?
I5.
Okay, most of you a trooper?
Young man, sir.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. I'm assuming that means that all the enemies that come together against Israel, and they're all enemies of Israel.
That's true. Go ahead. What's the rest of it? What does it mean to be confederate? What does that mean?
I'd have to Google it. 1 second.
No sweat. Take your time. Somebody hit the brother out with a confederate.
An alliance. They're together. They're working together. A confederacy is an alliance.
That's right. So tell me how today. So they were confederate against us way back then. So how they confederate against us today?
Probably the alliance of different nations against Israel, whether it be Ishmaelites or Amalekites, Salakia. Just the other different nations all coming together, uniting against. Basically, no one likes blacks, Hispanics, and natives, is what I gather. So they all made us their enemy. All of those different nations.
So give me some examples, Bible Kusha.
China, Japan, Korea, India.
Not the nations. Honest, we identify the difference of the nation, but for our people, like we don't necessarily see that they are confederate against us. We just hear about it. But give me some examples that we can sink our teeth into, if I may. They'd be like, I see it now. That's what our people need to hear, because outside of, let's say, Eric Garner getting choked out by the cop, our people just see it as a bad cop. You know what I'm saying? They just see a cop that did something that was out of bounds and he should have been punished for. But in the Isupk, we know exactly what it is. That was an act of war against the Lord's chosen people. It wasn't just a cop. It was a nation of people going against another nation of people. That's what we seen in Israel. That's what we're able to see once we see the truth of the Bible and what the Most High said. We bring that to our people and they say, well, damn, that would be a reason why he would choke him out instead of it just being a cop. We know the truth about the spirit of the people who live here on earth. So when we talk about the examples, give me some examples of how these other nations are confederate against us.
So, like I said, if I may, that example you made, there was just, there was maybe a little outrage about that after it happened, but a couple Asian people die, and then you got like a Stop Asian Hate bill after what, just maybe 2, 3, how many people died? It was like 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they get an Asian hate bill, and we keep dying out here on the streets.
Right. Most High in Christ. Damn right. So that's one. Give me another one. So now we talking about who are the okay, so who would be the Ammon? So this, I almost gave the answer. So who would be the Asians or the people of the Bible if we were to refer to them in the scriptures? What do we refer to them as?
It's like it's Moab and was it Joab or was it Ammon? Ammon and Moab, sir.
So we would be to go into the scriptures and say these are the children of incest. According to the Bible, this is who they are. This is another nation of people that have what? Consulted against us.
Come on, sir.
This is why they move into our neighborhoods and do what? Set up beauty supply stores, and the sisters don't receive any of the funds from it.
Right.
That's why there's China Wok on every goddamn corner in every black community. You got chicken wings and shrimp fried rice every goddamn where.
Yeah, right.
Was going against the Most High power, first of all, with the dietary laws, but yet and still they're in our neighborhoods. After that China Wok closed at 9 o'clock, you don't see them nowhere in your neighborhood. You tell me where are they going to live at?
So like I said, the good part of town.
In Chinatown.
They're going back to Chinatown, right? Give Yonas all a hand. You know what I'm saying? They going back to their communities. You understand? So when was the last time you seen Moab or Ammon pumping gas at a neighborhood gas station? You ever seen Moab or Ammon pumping gas at night in your neighborhood? Why not?
Oh, slacky, because they be in their part of town pumping gas.
You're right. They going back to make sure they spend their money with they people.
Right.
We spend our money with everybody. If it's something that looks good or tastes good, we go spend our money with them. And Isupk, well, we got to be able to forsake it all, man, for the truth, man, that the name of Israel will always be remembered.
Right.
All the little fun things that we like to get into. Ain't nothing wrong with having fun, but make sure you put your nation of people first.
Right.
If I may, sir.
Come on, Yonazar.
I'm going to offer another example. A very recent example is how they treated the Afghanistan people compared how they treated the Haitian brothers and the Mexican brothers down at the border.
So now, okay. So now we're distinguishing us and them. That's what the truth of the Bible does. This what history does. This is why we teach this in the Isupk. Because if you knew that you was Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, you would know that the Haitians are your brothers. And you understand that, guess what? The Afghani people are not our brother.
That's right.
They descend from a different family of people. They descend from a different nation of people. And furthermore, they are another nation of people that have what? Consulted against the Lord's chosen people, man.
Oh, so like I said, if I may, Ishmaelites.
Ishmael. Are they not pushing what is it? Islam in our communities? Have they not been lying to us? Are we lying to ourselves for years and generations after generations? The religion itself is another way that they have consulted against the Lord's chosen people, man.
Oh, God.
There are tons of examples, and when we teach this to our people, we have to be able to go into these scriptures and say, listen, these are the ways that they are destroying us. This is it. Because we don't see that. We tend to say, man, we got to stop killing ourselves, man.
Right.
This is true. But no, will anybody ever tell you why do we kill ourselves? Why? Why do we think our lives have less value, as why it's so easy to go into a neighborhood and kill another brother or another sister? Why is it so easy for you to just have an abortion? What we lost along the way was the value that we should have and how we should view one another, man. We lost that system of saying, hey, I'm rocking with you because you my brother. We lost a lot of that through the ways that an enemy have used what? Crafty counsel. That's what somebody give me the definition of crafty, my Baba Kwasha. Crafty.
Oh,
If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
It basically means skillful.
A what?
Skillful.
Skillful, man. Skillful. You think that them handcuffs that they put on your wrist, you know how they click, right? They got the 1, 2, how they click. You know they're designed by they know the size of a man's wrist.
Come on.
These things are designed. How the hell do you come up with pepper spray, Baba Kwasha? Who sits around and say, I want to learn how to disperse a crowd using pepper spray?
Right.
I want to ride through your neighborhood with blue lights flashing and alarms, sirens going off. These are skillful tactics that the enemy uses day in and day out to always have us under stress, man. These are things that keep you in fear day in and day out that is happening to you. And who is doing these things? Our enemies are doing these things. In the Isupk up under Commander General Hunter, we are able to decipher the things that are destroying us in our neighborhood. We are able to see the skills that they have. We take that and we use what the Most High gave us, and that's obedience to beat the crafty counsel.
Damn right.
While they may be skillful in making sure that we don't know who we are and using all these tactics that we said earlier, all these little designs, these skillful trades that they come up with to destroy us as a nation of people, guess what? We still know who we are in the Isupk. Brothers still picking up their sword out here in the Isupk. Brothers still going to camp and standing on that podium of wood like they have always done. Isupk. We do it because we love our brothers and we love our sisters. And we understand how important that it is for these things to get passed down through generation after generation. Not one jot or tittle shall pass from nowhere in the law, right?
Right.
Nothing, not a goddamn thing shall pass, man. Why they thinking that we was gonna forget who we are? The Lord had a plan all along, man. He knew it. He knew exactly what he was doing. We serve a God that makes sure that the sun never bumps into the moon. Never. And that's why King David is saying this way back then. Everybody good? Y'all still with me, right?
Kind of one kind, sir.
Top of one, am I coming through clear over there, brother? These brothers, them brothers are quiet over. I hear a little noise.
Right.
Where I want to go. Everybody understand that before we move on? Everybody to what?
Kind of sir.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 27:1. Baba Kusha.
Come on.
Deuteronomy 27:1. Am I saying that right, Yanazar? Deuteronomy.
Come on, sir.
Okay. Make sure I'm saying it right. Deuteronomy.
I got it, sir.
You got it? Go ahead, brother.
Come on. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
Why is this so important?
So, like I said, if I may, it's important that we know that these rules that were commanded, these commandments that were given to us, is given to us to know and to keep them.
Okay. Now who is this? Now who was given this?
So like I said, Moses, sir.
And who?
Oh, in Israel, sir. All of Israel.
Moses was given it, and who else? So who else did it say? Read that again.
Kalamakah, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded
who?
The elders of Israel.
Now, why? What's important about Moses? We know why Moses is important, correct? But what is important about the elders of Israel?
Oh, Slack, sir, if I may. These are also other leaders within the nation.
But what makes them important?
Slack, sir, because they.
I mean, because it put him in there for a reason. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
So what's up with that?
If I may, sir.
Come on, Yanazar.
It denotes rank and also their wisdom and their knowledge and experience.
Right. After seeing what? Generation after generation after generation, correct?
Kind of.
Is that not what we're supposed to do in the school? That's what we do, right? We see Captain Nata and the things that he do and how he teaches on levels, generation, meaning the different brothers that come into the school, no matter what age they are, they're still a generation before it's coming into the school. Captain Nata is still considered to be an elder because he's seen brothers come in here and change their life. He's seen brothers come in here and leave as well. So don't you think it's important that he would say, look, this is what we should be doing as a nation of people or a family that's in Durham, North Carolina? The elders have always been important to making sure that the name of Israel is always remembered. That's what we just talked about in King David as well. He was doing the same thing that Moses and the elders were doing right here. Y'all get me, right?
Come on.
It has always been important throughout history to make sure that we maintain the line, that we hold the line. For who? The brothers or sisters that are following us, man. Commander General Hunter is holding the line. He held it down so that way we know that we are Israel. The brothers who he learned it from, that he was taught, he didn't stray away from it. He stayed right here. That the name of Israel shall always be remembered, even though the enemies lift up their head, even though the enemies make a tumult, even though the enemies come up with what? Crafty counsel.
Right.
This is how we do this thing in Israel. This is how we're supposed to do it as brothers and sisters for the next generation, the ones that is following us. And the things that we do today become history for tomorrow. Y'all understand that, right? The thing that you do today, right? The next day is considered to be what?
History, sir.
History. You can tell your children 10 years from now, I remember the day I stopped eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster.
Right.
That's considered to be your what? That's history, man. What's the brother? What's your name again? You just got your name last week?
Kalawakan, sir. Trooper Maya Shaw, sir.
Trooper Maya Shaw. You can tell them, guess what? I made history a couple of weeks ago. That's what you can tell your children. I made history because I became a new man under Christ in the Isupk, man. I made history. Even though the enemy have lifted up their head. Even though the enemy I've had to deal with crafty counsel my whole goddamn life. Even though I've been dealing with tumult every time I go to camp.
Right.
I made history this day. Moses and the elders of Israel made history back then. David made history back then. And they did it for us to do it today. They did it for us to do it tomorrow.
Right.
They did it for us to do it throughout our generations, as Leviticus 23 will put it. Keep this throughout our generations. Are we not commanded to do so, Thaba One? You're damn right. Today will become tomorrow's history, man. So live your life to become whatever that the Lord say you're supposed to be. That name that the Lord gave you, brother, live up to that name.
Right.
And if you can't do it today, you'll get through the Spirit of the Most High in Christ. You'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. So brother say, God damn. Yeah, that brother, Thaba One. Yeah, that's Thaba One. That's for sure. For me to know that this brother's name is Thaba One, I'm looking at his history, man. I'm looking at what he had to fight, what he had to overcome. I see that him to maintain in his truth and carry on and teach the way this brother teach. I know that he survived somewhat crafty counsel, man.
Right.
I know that he's keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what's in our blood. That's what's in your blood. Generation after generation. This is what's been passed down to us. That's why the history class is so important. Because we understand in Psalm 83, David was crying out to the Lord to say this, that the name of Israel shall always be remembered, even though they have taken crafty counsel against us.
Right.
David was saying, Lord, we need you on this one, Lord. For sure. We need you on this one. All right, everybody cool. Most High in Christ. Y'all rocking with me. I feel like I'm in the classroom with him, Thaba One. I feel like I'm right there.
Hey, Shalaki, the one, I don't know if you saw, but Officer Shabaya Allah, he put up a comment.
What that? Go ahead and read it to me.
Officer Shabaya Allah said in the comment section, but you breaking everything down with the UPK. He said, I'm courting a sister that owns her own restaurant. And because of the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana holding on to this truth, I was able to teach her lawful and unlawful foods. She took all unlawful foods off her restaurant menu.
Man, give him a hand, man. Get that a hand, brother.
Damn right.
Damn right, man. That's it. That's what we have to be in the earth. That's how we defeat the crafty council. We defeat the crafty council because the elders of Israel should be able to see the trap coming.
Right.
You ever, you know what I'm saying? Like in the hood, like you know that old head that just sit on the porch. Hey, younger, you might want to put that down.
Right.
Hey, younger, hey, boy, you moving kind of fast out there. That's what these classes are designed for us to be for our people. This is a way for us to communicate to our people, unlike the Christian church.
Right.
They use these broad and ambiguous terms all the damn time, so you never see where you're going, let alone knowing where you came from. See, in here in the Isupk, we are able to break down through the Spirit of the Most High in Christ and the things that we are taught generation after generation to understand the history of where we came from. You understand the history of where you came from, you begin to pick up value in how you view yourself, man. It's a value system that comes along with understanding the things that you've been through in life.
Right.
But when they tell you your history starts with you getting off a cargo slave ship, you walk around with your head down all the goddamn time. We understand we have this thing about us that make us feel less than all the other nations on the face of the earth.
Right.
Read verse 28, verse 1, Baba Kusha.
Come on.
28, verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord, the Most High, will set thee high above all nations on the earth.
Now, you go out through the scriptures, there are times when we was above all the other nations on the face of the earth. That's the history lesson for you. Go back and read. Check them scriptures out when we ran this earth. When we was in control of our do's and don'ts inside of the empire. That's what we did. Because we were? Because we was obedient to the law, statutes, and commandments. That's history.
Right.
It's almost like baking a cake, if I may. I don't know nothing about baking. I'm not a cook, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I eat. I tell you if it's good or not, but I don't proclaim myself to be a cook, if I may.
Kind of what kind?
You understand? You know that you can tell I probably eat a little bit, but I ain't that good of a cook. I'll sample it for you. That's what I'll do. I'll tell you if you on the right path. You understand? I can give you that much.
Right.
But this is what we have. We have a design recipe to make sure that everything that we put into the oven comes out perfect every single time. That's what history does. You got layers and layers, right? That shows you if you do this particular way, this is the results that you will get.
Right.
That's what history does. Moses is laying this thing out for us to keep these law, statutes, and commandments for what? For us to be above all the other nations on the face of the earth. It is the perfect recipe. But if we fall into the crafty counsel, it's a recipe for disaster.
Right.
If we listen to the tumult that is around about us, it's a recipe for disaster. If we want to walk around and let their pride get in our way, our understanding of who we are, it's a recipe for disaster. If we begin to follow the other nations and try to live like them and be like them, it's a recipe for disaster. If you don't believe me, go check out the history on it.
Right.
This is the history class, right? You see what has happened to us over and over again once we begin to join with the other nations or eat their recipes. The enemy wins.
Right.
But if we are obedient to the recipe that the Most High laid out for us to follow, if we look at these scriptures like the history that he laid out for us to follow, you look at the warlike spirits that the priests and prophets had in those days. That's the spirit that we should have when we go against the enemy today. That's a recipe for winning.
Damn right.
We use these scriptures to inspire the generations that follows us. We use the words of the Lord. These are living words that the Lord leaves for us to inspire the men that follows us, just like Moses and the elders did. And if we do that, we'll be what? Above all the other nations on the face of the earth.
Right.
Who don't want that? You gonna trade that in for what? A basketball championship? An NBA trophy?
Come.
You trading that in for what? A platinum selling record? A million views on YouTube? Are going viral? That's what we trading in, being above all the other nations on the face of the earth for? You selling dope for what? To be the neighborhood trap star for what? How long a dope boy run lasts? What, about 3 years, 4 years at the most?
Come.
I can tell you about it. It lasts about a good 4 years. And then what? Your life in shambles for the rest of your life.
Right.
And then all you can do then is pick up photos and show your kids, see, yeah, this is when daddy was doing this and this is when daddy was doing that. And the kid looking at you like, daddy, what you doing now?
Right.
What, daddy, why your teeth missing, daddy? Well, your daddy got on that stuff bad. You mean the stuff you was selling, daddy? Yeah. How about we be able to live and tell our children a different story?
Right. That's right.
Yeah, this is my first Passover. Yeah, my garment was all black. Yeah, that's all I could wear. I was just a trooper. I couldn't wear nothing else. I remember I was on post all day, my back, but I did have some good lamb though. That lamb, oh man, that was the best lamb I ever tasted in my life. I tell them the story about, yeah, man, I remember when I used to do such and such and such and such, but when I got my name, when Captain Nathai hit me with that oil, and it ran out down my face, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Huh? I pray y'all understand what I'm talking about, right? This is history that I'm talking about. This is the history class, correct?
God.
Once you do these things in the Isupk, you come in and change your life, you are making history. You are breaking down the walls that the enemy have set up for you to fail. What wall did they set up? That the name of Israel should be in no more remembrance.
Right.
But we said tonight, oh man, he losing that battle right now. The way them brothers went down on that border down there in Texas, out that if you needed proof, let that be your goddamn proof.
Damn right.
Understand? If you needed history, let that be your goddamn history. Because wasn't no Christian church out there do it. Wasn't no Creflo Dollar down there doing it. TD Snakes, none of them. Peter Popoff, none of them were down there. Right. Captain Yatazak were down there from the Isupk. Let that be history for you. That's the history that we need. So we can say on this day, this is what these brothers did for their brothers. This is what this brother did for their sisters. This is the history that we all inspire to live with day by day. What is that history? Being obedient to the Most High Power, man. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That is how we win this war. And this is what David was praying for when he was going against his enemies. Moses knew how important it was to teach this to the children of Israel. The elders knew how important it was to teach this to the children of Israel. He knew, they all knew that if we were obedient, we were going to make history and be above all the other nations on the face of the earth.
Right.
The oppressor has his history books. Somebody tell me what is in the oppressor history books, if I may. Somebody answer that question for me. What is in the oppressor history books?
Salakia, sir, if I may. The glorification of the oppressor.
What else?
Salakia, if I may, the establishment of America in 1776.
What else?
Unlimited bullshit and lies. I go to school right now and hear it.
Damn right. Give him a hand. But I'm looking for one word to kind of sum it all up. All you brothers are on point with what you're saying. Everybody's on point, but I'm looking for one word to kind of sum it like a synopsis of all of it, if I may. Y'all know what that one word is?
It's like it's a victory.
It's victories. Give them a hand.
That's right.
That's what the oppressor history books represent. Now, guess what our book's going to have to say once we begin to be obedient? Well, that day going to come where, brother, we're going to talk about our victories.
Right.
Our victories are recorded right here in this Bible, right here. The problem is we've been taught that these victories are not our victories. Because we don't know that we are the gods, so we are the people that are in this book.
Right.
These are our victories as well. These are our victories, but they also show our failures too.
Oh my God.
The white man our oppressor is full of pride. He don't tell you about his failures. But we all know that day is coming. He that leadeth into captivity must go and where?
Into captivity, sir.
Into captivity.
Damn right.
Oh, his day is soon at an end. That's a fact, Jack.
Right.
You can take that to the bank and cash it. Y'all good? Y'all still rocking with me, right?
Come on, God.
All right. Let me get the book of 1 Samuel 17.
Come on, God.
We're going to start at verse 1. Let's go over this victory real quick. And we're going to get up out of here.
Come on, God. It's the first book of Samuel, chapter 17, verse 1. Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle, and were gathered together at Shekah, which belongeth to Judah, and pitched between Shekah and Ezekah in Ephesdammim. It's like it. Verse 2. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah, and set the battle in array against the Philistines. Verse 3. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them. Verse 4.
Now stop. Somebody set the stage for me. Y'all done heard this. Y'all done heard this story 1,000 different times in the Isupk. And Lord willing, you'll forever hear it, because this is what this day King David made history.
Come on, God.
He made history this day. And if you go back over in the chapter before this, it'll tell you how the Most High sent a prophet out to seek out King David and said, yeah, this is who I want right here. How they anointed his head with the oil. Yeah, this is who you want right here. This is what, Baba Kushar, this is history.
Right.
Just like you got your head anointed with that oil. You made history. This is the day that King David lived up to what he was anointed to do. And guess what? Each and every last one of the brothers in the Isupk, whether you believe it or not, your day gonna come. Now you may not have to slay a giant like Goliath, like King David had to do, but you will have your battle. You will have your battle. You understand? And if you are being obedient, and if you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Lord will be on your side. You can't live in fear with this thing, man. You gotta be 10 toes down, if I may. You gotta go knee deep, if I may.
Right.
I don't mean to be too, you know what I'm saying, explicit, but just know if you gotta get dirty, then you just gotta get dirty with it. But if you're getting dirty, let's go ahead and make history, if I may, all right? So King David is about to make some history right here. That's why we're reading about it today, correct?
Read
on.
Verse 4. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines.
A what?
A champion out of the camp of the Philistines.
Now we think these other nations are big and bad, and they are champions at everything that they do.
Right.
Like we just said earlier, we talked about their victories in their history books, correct? And you read their history book, you would think that this empire would never fall. And something that never falls would be considered what? A champion, correct? Just like Goliath was. Read on.
Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. Verse 5.
So what is this talking about? We talking about the size, how big, how it should be something that should be noted, like what is being, to the visuals, if I may. Just think about the empire that we live in today. Think about how vast the kingdom of America is and what it stands for. It's something that should be considered a what? A great champion.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 5. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass.
Oh man, that's what is this talking about right here, Yonazo? I know Yonazo love this. He all over this one. I see him. I only have to see him right now, Thaba One, but I know he's smiling right now.
Right.
What they're talking about was how heavy his coat of mail or his coat of protection was on his body. It was the weight of 5,000 coins.
So okay, that's true. But what is this signifying for somebody who just looking at the imagery of the language here? What is this signifying?
Salaki, I don't want, if I may. It's signifying, pause, just how large, Goliath was. You know what I'm saying? Because how strong he was, which goes with how large he was. Because his mail, mail is like chain mail. It's like the kind of armor that they used in those times. It was like chain links of metal. His was so large and it weighed so much, only a man of his stature could carry it. Basically saying, this nigga seems unbeatable. Like he's large, and it just seems like can't nobody just
right. Damn right. Like, man, don't even think about it.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 6. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders.
Good night. He was armed from head to toe.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 7. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing a shield went before him. Verse 8. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are you come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. Verse 9.
What is he asking for?
Salaki, sir, he's looking for the champion, the someone to battle against from Israel, sir.
And what else is he also doing?
He's issuing a challenge. He's being disrespectful as well.
He's what? Lifting up a tumult. Huh? And then what we said a tumult was, Yanazar?
Loud, riotous noise.
Yeah, he making a bunch of goddamn noise, man.
Right.
What y'all gonna do now? Go find a man. Y'all, I'm about what you about. What's up?
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. if he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants?
Would they be what?
But if he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants?
And y'all think about what we read and think about what he's saying. We'll be your servants.
Right.
Meaning what? We go back to Deuteronomy 28:1. It said if we was obedient to the law, statutes, and commandments, we would be above all the other nations on the face of the earth.
Right.
And if we're above all the nations on the face of the earth, they would be our what?
Servants, sir.
You tell me what we fighting for.
Damn right.
You tell me what we supposed to be fighting for.
That's right. That rulership, sir.
Damn right. Even this Philistine knew back then, if he lost this goddamn battle, he was gonna be what? Our servant.
Right.
We got to start winning battles. And the Isupk, when we went down to that border, that was a battle won.
Right.
That was a battle won. Go ahead.
Come on. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us.
What is that right there?
So like that's
that? Go ahead.
So like that's what our enemies have done to us, sir. They've defeated us and made us their servants, sir.
You got to be in the class with me tonight. What is that? He was using what? He was trying to be what?
Oh, crafty counsel, sir.
Give him a hand. You know what I'm saying? He could do that. It had to be crafty counsel, man. Yeah, you got to know they must have came up with this plan. Them filthy Philistines, them Hamites, and the Hamites, Tabawan. Right. They back there like, yeah, we gonna get the biggest man, put him in brass. Yeah, we gonna come up with a plan. Ain't nobody gonna be able to beat him. They gonna be scared. That's crafty counsel, right?
Right.
They've always tried to use crafty counsel against the Lord's chosen people. A skillful plan, if I may. Read on.
Come on, verse 10. And the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. Verse 11. When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
They were what?
Dismayed and greatly afraid.
So now the crafty counsel is working. That crafty counsel is working because they looking at the challenge or the champion that they have to overcome, and they're all afraid.
Right.
Are our people not afraid today?
Oh my God.
Are they not looking at the challenges that we have to face day in and day out? Are they not thinking about the battles that they have to overcome? When they see us out there on the streets, they looking at us and be like, "Damn, y'all strong." But they are what? They living in fear. They are afraid. The crafty counsel that this empire is using against them is working. But we are fighting against that today. You understand? Read on.
Come on. Verse 12. Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah.
Go back and read verse Salaki. Go back and read chapter 16. First Samuel chapter 16, verse 1. Start at verse 1. You'll understand to give another history of where David comes from. It's also set a stage up to let you know what type of man David was, even in his youth.
God, this is the book this is the first book of Samuel, chapter 16, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Samuel,
Salaki, go ahead and read stay in 17. I was just saying, whenever y'all get a chance to, go back and read the history of it. Go back and read the history of David, okay? Or where he come from, his father, his brothers, and all that. It'll get a nice little, you know what I'm saying? Nice little history of where he came from, all right? Just stay on, we're in 17, verse 12.
Okay, come on, sir. Whose name was Jesse, and had 8 sons, and the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul.
Y'all remember that? Y'all have heard of the term the root of Jesse?
Come on, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Come. Verse 13. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle.
Okay.
And the names of the 3 sons that went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and next unto him Abinadab, Slakia, and the third Shammah. Verse 14, and David was the youngest.
David was what?
David was the youngest.
He was the youngest. Go ahead.
And the 3 eldest followed Saul. Verse 15, but David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. Verse 16, and the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days.
What does this mean? What is he doing out there?
They're preparing for war. They're preparing for the battle.
But what did this bastard doing for 40 days?
They're showing their strength. They're showing their strength off.
He making a tumble.
Oh, Khan of a Khan.
He down there. Come on. Y'all seen the movies, right? Y'all see how they portray all the crap in the movies, like bring me your best or whatever. You know how they do, talking trash.
Sir.
Read on.
Verse 17. And Jesse said unto David his son, take now for thy brethren an path of this parched corn and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren. Verse 18, and carry these 10 sheep.
Even in that moment, David was being what?
A servant, sir.
A servant to his brothers. A servant to his brothers. Read on.
Verse 18, and carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fare, and take their pledge. Verse 19.
Salah. For all you Christian groups out there that said ranking in the Bible, here you go right here. Right here in front of your face. UPK, y'all brothers got y'all ordering and ranking. They ain't in the Bible. It's right. What is this we reading?
Right.
Number one, we know our history. Huh? We know our history.
That's right.
Read on.
Verse 19. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. Verse 20. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with a keeper and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host.
What is this? What is this saying about David once again? That we found out that David was a servant to his brother. So what else did we just find out about David right here?
If I may say,
Go ahead.
He was brave as hell.
What else?
It's like that he was a herder. He heard the sheep.
What else?
He was obedient.
Most High in Christ. He did what he was commanded to do.
God.
On all levels in this story, y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's the things that are in the scriptures that are examples to the slight changes in our lives that we should make to be strong men. You understand? One is being able to be a servant at any given time when a brother is in need. The second one is being able to put your things aside and be obedient to what is asked of you. That's discipline. That is discipline. That's how you survive in real life situations. That's how you survive in war, if I may. You gotta be disciplined and being able to do what you are asked to do. Read on.
As the host was going forth to the fight and shouted for the battle. Verse 21. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army.
Right.
Verse 22. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. Verse 23.
He came and did what?
And saluted his brethren.
He did what?
He came and saluted his brethren.
He pretended like his brothers didn't matter.
He came and saluted his brethren.
That's brotherhood, man. That's UPK.
Damn right.
That's UPK. Yeah, y'all brothers coming up. Do we not say the prayers when we get ready to go out of camp? Do we not greet each other when we go out for camp?
Right.
All of it. He showed the servitude. He showed the obedience, and he's showing the brotherhood. All of it. That's history, man. Go ahead.
Count. Verse 23. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words. And David heard them. Verse 24. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man,
he spoke unto the same words. You imagine David being the youngest. He,
right.
He heard what the Philistines. You say what? Imagine like y'all brothers be out there. You know how y'all some of y'all brothers can thump a little bit, right? Y'all got some hands. Y'all not throw some hands. Imagine somebody talking bad about your daddy. You say what about my daddy?
Come.
Huh? You do what? You said my name. You said what about me? You talking to me? Yeah. Let's see what King David did. Let's go.
Salaki out of one.
Come on.
Just a time check, 8:45, sir.
All right, we're gonna get through it. Let's go. The water, number one.
Come, verse 24. And the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and some were afraid. Mm-hmm. Verse 25. And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up, and he shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel.
Now, who don't want that?
We.
Everybody that starts smiling, you know what I'm saying? You do what? Daughter, a real? Oh man, let's get it. Come on.
Come on, God. And verse 26. And David spoke to the man that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel?
Right. Come on.
For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy?
So what is David saying? You say what? You hold on. You mean to tell me I'm gonna get all these riches and somebody do something to this uncircumcised Philistine?
Right.
Well, you ain't even cut right. You out here talking trash about us. You ain't even cut right. You walk around here with a turtleneck on, man. Who you talking about? Me? What? Come on.
That he should defy the armies of the living God?
Defy who?
The armies of the living God?
Defy who?
The armies of the living God?
And King David didn't say nothing about him. Right. He didn't say nothing about defy me. He said you defy the army of the living God, man. Right. So when you talk about these other nations who make a tumult around us, who come up with crafty counsel all goddamn day, and they are confederate against us, man, do you not know you going against the children of the Lord, man? The children of God, the one living true power? Once again, this is history, y'all. This is history. Read on.
Verse 27. And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. Verse 28. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left with these few sheep in the wilderness?
So what is his brother them saying? His brother like, man, damn, here you go again. Who let you out the house, man? Oh, you supposed to be at the crib taking care of the pops, chickens, and sheep. And what you doing down here?
Right.
God damn, David. Go ahead.
God, I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thy heart. I know thine pride. And the naughtiness of thy heart.
But you know what type of pride that it is, though? That is a righteous pride, man.
That's
righteous pride. That's the pride that we should have when we go out to camp. When you step out to camp, you should look your absolute best. You understand? You should be looking absolutely glorious every time that we go out for camp. That's the type of pride that you should have when we step out there on that podium. Because you're not representing yourself, you're representing the Most High. You understand? Do it for the history of brothers like David. You understand?
Right.
Read on.
For thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle.
You want to see the battle? Is that not Israel? We always want to see a fight.
Right.
You be sitting around in the club and knowing damn well if they start shooting in here, you may get shot, but you're gonna stay to see who's gonna fight tonight. Who else wants some of Hollywood Cole? Read on.
Verse 29, and David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause?
Is it not a call for me to be down here looking?
Right.
Don't y'all got something going on? Isn't there a what? Isn't there a battle?
Right.
Read on.
Verse 30, and he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. Verse 31, and when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. Verse 32, and David said unto Saul, and David said to Saul, let no man's heart slacken, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. Verse 33.
Drop down to verse 48 for time's sake.
Sir. Book of 1 Samuel, the first book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 48. And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, and David hasted and ran toward the enemy, and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. Verse 49.
Hold on, stop. David did what?
Ran toward the army to meet the Philistine.
He did what?
Ran toward the army to meet the Philistine.
He ran. He ran. What battle are we running for? What battles are we running towards in life?
Right.
Or are we running from our battles? Are we trying to pretend like they'll go away? You do know you got the blood of kings running through your veins, right?
Right.
You do know you got the blood of priests and prophets running through your veins, right?
Right.
So what the hell should you be running for? We should be running towards the goddamn battle. You did.
Right.
Let's go and make history, if I may. Read on.
Verse 49. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead.
He did what?
Smote the Philistine in his forehead.
What does it mean to smote the Philistine? What does that mean?
He hit him, sir.
Go ahead.
That the stone sunk into his forehead and he fell upon his face to the earth.
So think about it now. It didn't just hit him and bounce off his head. What did it do? It's penetrated his skull, man.
Right.
It penetrated his skull, even though he had brass and coats of nails and all these different ornaments that he had hanging on him. That thing penetrated his skull, man. Let me tell you something, man. The Isupk is penetrating America right now.
That's right.
Even though it seemed like this big vast, we are penetrating all our enemies right now. Pause.
Right.
Bible 1. I hear you over there. But that's what is happening right now. Against all odds, we have to be willing to run, to make haste in our decisions about serving the Lord, man. And everything that we do, if we're in the spirit of the Most High in Christ, brother, we will make history. King David made history. Moses and the elders of Israel made history.
Right.
What history will we create today? What history will you create tomorrow? It starts with us being obedient to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and know that we serve the only true living power in the whole goddamn globe, man.
That's right.
And his name is Yahweh. And just like King David was calling on then, but that's what we have to do now. But we have to be worthy to call on our power. And to do so, we must be obedient to what this actually in this word, the law, statutes, and commandments. And with that, I'm going to turn the class over to preaching prophet of the Lord, who, Yanazar, to run down the announcements. Y'all clap it up.
Okay, security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana, and we're not affiliated with any other religion or Hebrew Israelite group. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, which is the clothing of the feast of the blowing of the trumpets, which the feast of the tabernacles, which will be tomorrow right here in Durham, North Carolina, 7 p.m. Remind Akim and Akwathium to check on social media, such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. And I always make a little comment on this part because I always want to emphasize how important social media is to the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? Because that thing that happened down there in Mexico, we saw that on social media. You understand? Those brothers reported on social media. You understand what I'm saying? That's how important social media is, you know, to the ISUPK. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, and headband or scarf. And with that, a majim, which means to stand.
Salaki, so due to being over the time, usually class ends at 8:30. We're just gonna go ahead and salute out. Is that Tawab, sir? Salaki, I think you muted, sir.
Khan, you can hear me now?
Khan.
All right, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Al-Shabrak Thumb.
Go ahead and call it.
All right. Men of Israel, we give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amaju Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Al-Shabrak Thumb.
Yahweh Shem Al-Shabrak Thumb.